Hey, it is your buddy, Peace and Harmony with you here today. Much love going out to the empowered harmonizers, and a huge shout out especially to those of you who have recently donated to the channel. Thank you so much for stepping up your game and really taking that extra step and make a contribution to the channel and letting me know that the content is hitting home, but furthermore, really kind of getting some skin in the game for yourself and putting an investment in your own emotional health and really what makes you tick and your healing and understanding moving forward. And it's an honor and a privilege to be able to host the channel and see your stories and your comments and your questions and address these as they come up. It's so important that we make huge strides in our lives. You know, time is your most precious commodity. And if you have wasted or you feel you have wasted a lot of time in the grief process through going through relationships with someone who is emotionally manipulative, trauma bonding experiences that really set you on edge, that really shook and rocked your world in a negative way, things have had made it very difficult for you to move on. I don't like to see that suffering taking place. It's my passion to be able to reach out and help those people who are suffering and who are especially suffering emotionally, physically, through the relationships that have caused them this grief and this pain and have really made a huge impact in their life, and they're really trying to get through to the other side of it. So that's the whole goal of the channel, and to look at tools and choices and actions and understandings, working through things consciously so you can get back on the road. Stop, beating yourself up, but really getting to the best life that you are deserving and entitled to as a human being, and making those distinctions that are important to kind of do the work and get there. It's very difficult if you're grieving the loss or grieving from a relationship that has made a huge negative impact. It's very difficult to feel like your life is empowered and you're at harmony with things. So thank you so much for stepping up the game. And I want to zoom in and focus in on really just that, the picking up of your energy when you feel depleted, when you need to recharge yourself. If you look at your emotions very much are like a battery pack or something that needs to be charged, like your computer or your phone or your car. You really do need to have this spark in your life that's like an energy. It's like a amount or a container that can get depleted by units, so to speak. And your emotions have a big impact on your energy, whether you feel good, whether you feel bad, whether you feel up, you feel down, empty, or depleted. And oftentimes relationships with someone who is emotionally manipulative, like a cluster B, or someone who is borderline or psychopathic, someone who has put you through the rigmarole, who has taken you around the block, who has treated you like a yo-yo, and you did not see this taking place because perhaps it was gradual over time, and now you're finding that you're in a relationship with something that's very one-sided, and you feel like you're not represented fairly in the relationship. And this can also, cause a lot of blocks emotionally because of all the defense mechanisms that an individual has had to put into place to either pacify this individual, meaning satisfy their needs, or acquiesce, give in and compromise, and oftentimes in an out of balanced way. In other words, because their needs override everybody else's, everybody gets into, the sequence and the momentum of always, being on their side, laughing at their jokes, doing what they want, standing to support their opinions, versus really being able to be clear on your own ground, voice your feelings, voice your personality, voice your character, be yourself without fear of reprimand, threats, looks, things of this nature. It becomes a very specific relationship dynamic. And oftentimes people go through life and become, Dr. Craig Malkin, like he says, an egoist or a codependent, someone who is just there to be so empathetic to the needs of others that theirs are sacrificed, theirs are sabotaged, theirs are scapegoated, they go through kind of a gaslighting and dissociation where, they don't feel that their life is their own, and eventually they become feeling like hollowed out or low energy. And you need to take time to recharge, but oftentimes people say, well, I don't even know what that is. So let's discuss that here in this video. Recharging means getting some of your own natural energy back and having congruence in your own nervous system and being able to get out of the fight or flight, which oftentimes is triggered by these relationships and the trauma bond. The feeling of, constantly taking care of the needs of others. You begin to eventually get at the end of your rope. So we now need to let go of that rope, let go of that whole struggle, let go of that equus personality approach or attitude perhaps that you've had to engender in these relationships, and let it go. Just stop holding on to it. And oftentimes it's very scary because perhaps this is all people have known their entire lives, but I've always been this way, peace and harmony. I've always, I've raised my kids this way. My relationship is this way, and so there's a fear that you might disappoint somebody, or they might, there's a fear that they might see a different side of you and you might, lose them. Well, you need to let go of that maladaption, and you need to persist in embracing in validating your own needs, which means, yes, you might feel different. They might see a different part of you, but that is okay. That is what is desirable, is that you're able to see a new part of you. They're able to see a new part of you, but that doesn't even matter. All that matters is that you are able to recharge. You need to kind of reset the neurological hardware within yourself that's been set or triggered into that fight or flight, the adrenalization, the armoring, the overriding of your natural instincts, the denial, the making your calendar adjusted to always accommodate for others rather than yourself, to the point where you're in such a diminished or minimized state. You find that you're not eating right, you're not sleeping right, your body is depleted. So acknowledging this and accepting this and grieving this, saying, wow, I'm feeling like this now, you need to say, okay, this is where I'm at. This is my number one priority, is to recharge. And recharge can mean having some quiet time, finding some solitary time in nature. Nature is very healing. Being out in the fresh air, the sunshine, taking a walk even in the rain, finding a creek, finding a waterfront, putting your hands in it, putting your feet in it, splashing in it. The ions from the earth will help detoxify a lot of that stress. It'll help you to reset your neurological hardware, because nature is a great healer, but we have become so disconnected from that. I mean, just look at what is going on in our society in the narcissistic or psychopathically designed culture, especially, that we find in the United States, Canada, the European countries. Just look at a show on Netflix called Power and Water, A California Heist. Look at some of the work, the films on Netflix that Leonardo DiCaprio has done on his work with the United Nations. Bringing awareness to the global warming aspect and that whole controversy, and then the coming together of the United Nations. Look at those couple documentaries and begin to, those awarenesses will help to recharge and reset your perspective. It'll help you to see what damages have been done to our economy or to our ecology at a whole and huge, profoundly devastating impact, in how important it is to have empathy, especially for our planet and nature. I mean, that is a huge giver of the life source, the natural plant-based diet. Things of this nature, getting into natural products rather than all the chemically tainted things. I'm a big believer in the natural products, the Jason products, the Tom's of Maine products, things, the natural charcoal cleansing, things of this nature which are naturally pull out the impurities. Nature has given us all sorts of natural tools and resources, but we become disconnected when we become distracted by the narcissistic needs. And that includes really the narcissistic or psychopathic cultural corporate structures that you see that are so empathy impaired when it comes to really looking at the basis of ecology. I mean, it will help to recharge you. And the negative ions in the Earth's surface, if you engage in a practice called earthing, where you take off your socks and shoes and just begin to walk on the Earth's surface, the forest preserve, the grasses, take several steps out in nature, lay down, in nature if you can, begin to cleanse your body and help to recirculate those ions which have been so, alkalized, or, become over alkalized in your body, and reset that. Begin to acknowledge what has taken place. Look at some of the food that you're taking in. A lot of the food which is overly processed, the chips, the crackers, the breads that don't have any nutrients, that are so hyper processed, the fast foods. Look at your diet. Is there some little ways that you can make some small, tiny improvements to get yourself to more of a plant-based diet? How can you throw in some spinach, some salad, some avocados, some, nuts, things of this nature which are more plant-based in that natural, closest sun and soil, that you can recharge yourself through the natural enzymes in the fruits and vegetables? How can you begin to add some of the superfoods? Begin to take vitamins on a consistent and daily basis. These changes take time to take place. Make an appointment with your primary care physician. Just say, hey, I'm here. I want to do my free annual physical. Get your blood worked up. Get into the dentist. Do some things that are recharging and healing to yourself. Begin to become more involved in support groups, which aren't just meant to be, for drinking or socializing, but therapeutic in nature. Maybe, get into some therapy groups. Go to meetup.com and see what groups there are. See what foundations there are in your area that can be enlightening. See what expos you can go to. See what sort of speakers you can go to that are like Dr. Joe Dispenza, Dr. Bruce Lipton, some of the healers out there from the books that you've read. Begin to listen to some podcasts, some videos like you're doing right now, the privacy to focus on your emotional bank balance. Because oftentimes your energy becomes so depleted that it becomes like you can't even believe in healing anymore. It just doesn't seem possible. And so that is just because your anger oftentimes has become, depression is really, it's oftentimes the other side of a coin of anger. In other words, you've been so afraid of feeling your feelings and the anger, that it becomes depressed, and your anger, your sort of spark to life has become extinguished. But think of the eternal flame. Think of the eternal flame of the Olympics, or think of the Statue of Liberty, and, holding up that inner spark. Begin to really reignite yourself. Even light a candle. Get around some warm colors, some warm images, and begin to work on your recovery journal. In fact, a great exercise that I've learned is taking your pen and paper in your recovery journal and writing 1 to 50. 1 to 50, and give yourself a couple lines, writing through 1 through 50. It'll take you about 2 or 3 minutes to write down 1 through 50. And I want you to write down all the things that you are angry about. I'm so angry that I'm sick. I'm so angry that I'm depressed. I'm so angry that my joints hurt. I'm so angry that I'm here at this stage in my life. I'm so angry that I'm this. And if you begin to write that out and purge that out, I'm so angry the price of gas has increased. I'm so angry that it's so, this store closed. Write anything and everything that you are angry about. And as you do that, your body will automatically reset and go, whoa, I need to do something about this. And once you write it down, you'll probably get to about 15, 20, or 25 and be like, you know what? This anger is no longer serving me. I am getting up and doing something about it. And you will get that spark of energy that will send you in a new direction. You'll be going to the hardware store to get some tools to make something, going to the art supply store to get some pastels, some paints, doing something creative like clay or model making or something that really gives you joy and you can begin to work with your hands in. Or I'm going to travel now. I'm so angry that I've been so stuck. I have not been able to see the world in the way that I want to see the world. I've not been able to experience things. I want to get a puppy. I want to get a kitten. I want to get a goldfish. You know, expanding your life. You'll begin to hit the solutions and then you'll hit the ground running. You will begin to be very energized when you do this activity. It's so important to be able to do these little sort of pattern breakers and pattern interrupts when you're feeling depleted. You need to recharge your battery. You need to take some time off of work. You need to take some time off of your relationships. You need to go and do these things, finding some books. But oftentimes it's taking action on those things. You know, I'm so angry with feeling lethargic. I want to go get a bike. I want to go join a yoga class. I want to join a health club. I want to start walking. I want to join a walking group. I want to work on Pilates. You know, there's all sorts of workshops you can find at your local gyms, or even here on YouTube, there's all sorts of great yoga channels. Boho Beautiful is one of my favorites. I mean, she has some great yoga. I cannot do it right now. I am in a cervical collar, so I am very restricted as to what I can do. So, you know, there are certain things, though, that you can say, you know, Peace and Harmony is telling me my time is valuable. It is. Time is your greatest commodity. You know, learn at ways you can energize yourself. You know, begin learning about different things, how you can invest in your health and your wellness. Begin taking action steps, because taking radical action is the main thing you need to do. And stop making excuses, stop procrastinating. We talk about, you know, how important it is to look at where's areas that you've been procrastinating, and oftentimes those are like the cement blankets that just weigh you down and keep you feeling stuck as you've been procrastinating or denial. You know, if I would stop living in denial, I would love to. If I could stop living in denial, I really want to. If I could stop living in denial, I really would like to become. Get rid of that denial that is keeping you cemented and de-energized, unempowered. Begin to become empowered by releasing, asking yourself these questions, writing it down, taking pen to paper. Get out of your comfort zone and do something that scares you at least once a day. If you are not taking pen to paper, if you're thinking, well, I can just imagine this right now, you need to go get a notebook. You need to write this down. If it hurts, I understand. If it makes you sad, I understand. If it's painful, I understand. It's very painful oftentimes to make this change, but you have to work through the pain. The pain is going to be temporary. Even if it hurts for 1 minute, 2 minutes, 5 minutes, you can withstand that. It does hurt to move, you know, and to get your physiology to stand up, to take action. Oftentimes people get into such a disempowered routine where they go and they sit down, they go and they lie down, they go and they take a nap, and they, you know, oversleep. This is a sign oftentimes of being in trauma, you know, having trauma bonded relationships. The body just wants to shut down, but you want to get into that subconscious where all your, you know, positive juice is like locked up. It's kind of like a reservoir 2 miles below the Earth's surface. That's where your energy is. You know, when you ask yourself these questions, you begin, you know, and you do these exercises with pen and paper, you're able to unearth and unlock the energy that is stored within you. Oftentimes it might have been built up for weeks, months, and even years. And it's very scary to trust and go with the flow, but go with the flow you must. I'm telling you, you are safe. And so when you begin this, allow yourself to know that you are safe. You can trust yourself, and it is safe to trust your desires. You are not going to be hurt by going for a walk. It might be new, but it might be scary because you're going out of your comfort zone, and it would definitely contradict the suffering that you've been doing, but that is the name of the game. That is the other side of the pain, is going through those activities, getting your physiology together, standing up straight, remembering the positive times in your life, and just going for it, going for the gold, going for the gusto, going for what your own solutions are as they come up spontaneously, as they come up through inspiration, as they come up through divine intervention. Yes, it is divine intervention. When you begin to see these solutions, begin to just grab onto your gut and say, I trust, I am safe. And follow those intuitions, follow that instinct, and begin to really see what changes you can make in your life. It doesn't have to be out of balance, crazy, chaotic. It can be balanced, safe, and little by little, even if it's baby steps. I took a walk for 15 minutes, or I drew one drawing, or I painted one painting, or I nailed one, board together to begin my project. Any little step in your project will get your energy going, and you will have safe momentum, and you will begin to feel recharged. But recharged you must. You must plug into that which is going to give you energy and action and change in your life. But follow those action steps. Don't be afraid. You can do it. You got this. It is your buddy, Peace and Harmony, with you here today. And I hope that these videos do help. Please share and please subscribe for more great tools, videos, discussion, and support.